Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the Tuesday topic. Now, last week, Robert Elston did a business breakfast. What's all that about for a start? What's? And you get a breakfast, you get a full English,
no.
Croissants.
I think it was just at breakfast.
Is it in the weathers? I don't know, do you know what I mean? Are you doing a full...
He didn't even stay for the full thing. He had to get off for a board meeting at 9 o'clock.
What time did it start?
Like 8 or something.
Alright, anyway. Him and the mayor,
Big Joe
Anderson. It was to do with the stadium bit, wasn't it, essentially, and obviously the club's point of view, the council's point of view. I mean, let's be honest. It's the council who are the most vocal, isn't it, really, when it comes to the stadium. The club have outlined the situation but really haven't gone into depth. The city council have had to outline it because of the project. The project is much bigger than Everton Football Club, and obviously because the financials seem to be coming from the council, or certainly that's the way they're trying to work it, 2/3 of whoever it is. They've had to be very vocal because at the end of the day they're a council and they've got people who won't all be in favour of this, whereas Everton, it's, you know, you're talking to your fan base, aren't you, at the end of the day, so it's a lot easier. But what did you think, you know, were the main things that came out of it?
Yeah, I thought there was some optimism, you know, with what had come out of it. Talking about, obviously, when Joe Anderson talks about it, obviously he's talking about it from a whole perspective of the city as well as being an Evertonian, and that area, what they were talking about was how it was going to revamp the area and how it was going to look. There was some images up, I think we'd seen recently, which weren't actually our stadium, but just where the stadium was going to be, and so that gave you a better indication of how it was all set out. And I thought it was a positive meeting, but the thing that really kind of makes you just question a couple of things is the caution that is used by Robert Elstone. And I understand that there has to be a degree of caution. That, you know, we've seen a couple of these things not get anywhere, haven't we, you know, in the past. But I think the thing that annoyed me the most is the size of the stadium. That he didn't give any numbers out, which I know we'll come on to in a minute, but he said there won't be a significant increase in capacity. Now that, to me, as a fan, makes me just think, well, if it's not going to be a significant increase, what does that entail? Does that mean it's going to be 45,000 or 48,000? Now, for a £500 million project that the club are going to have to pay a lot of money for, is it really worth it for 8,000 extra seats?
See, going back to your initial point about the caution, I think that's like, not worrying. I think worry is the wrong word, but disappointing, I think, because you've got the council there saying to everybody, this is what we're going to do, puffing our chests out, we're building, I think it's the 10th Street project, isn't it? Yeah. And it's converting a big piece of land or big piece of area into something I think that the city needs. I think the city is desperately running out of space in the city centre, you know, and I think it needs somewhere else. I think it needs other areas that people can go out to, or we've spoken about this before. You know, you've got the like of the Baltic area at the moment in Liverpool, which is busy. It's something different from town. It's a different experience. People can go nights out and stuff. But I think that's it's going to get to a point where even that's not going to be big enough to satisfy the needs of people. People will want something different from that. I think that area is really good for it, ripe for it. And I think the city, what they're doing is puffing out the chest and going, this is what we're doing. And okay, the council have done this quite a lot, and sometimes things have been unsuccessful. There's projects going on in Liverpool at the moment that have fallen, you know, because of outside funding or whatever. But I think it's the city still are quite aggressive the way they go after things, and they're like, we're getting down, we're doing this, and if we don't do it, it's not our fault. And I just think they're doing that with this. They're going after the area, going, this is what it's going to be, and they're selling it. They're selling it to the outside world, to people with money. Invest in this. This is going to be great. This is what we've got. You know, this whole area is going to be magnificent. There's homes, there's businesses, there's retail, leisure, all the rest. It's got a football stadium which is going to be amazing, and they're really selling it. And Everton are like, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like last week they went. I think it was in France, and it was like it was an investment thing, and it was a city thing, and they were down there, and they had the chief executive of Liverpool there, and he was saying how he was asked the question, and he was saying, the tide rises, all that kind of malarkey, all boats with the tide and all that, and he was really putting a positive spin, going, what's good for the city is good for Liverpool Football
Peter
Club.
Moore.
Yeah. He's saying what's good for Liverpool, for the Liverpool City Council is good for Liverpool Football Club, and therefore if Everton get a new stadium and it helps the city, it'll help us. And he was, he said those things, and you look at us and you just think Everton are just like, yeah, we're optimistic, and hopefully, and where's the selling of it? Where's the listen, we're getting it done, we're doing everything, we've bought the land, listen, it's going to be amazing. Dan Mice, it's going to be, because you hear from Dan Mice and he's like, it's going to be amazing, and you hear from you hear from Joe Anderson, early plans look amazing, and then he goes to the club, and the club are like, hopefully we'll get the finances, and hopefully we'll do this, and I just think, fuck off. Get someone in there who's got the imagination to go, do you know what, this is going to be amazing, right? But listen, we're trying, but if it comes off, hopefully it'll come off, it's going to be amazing. Don't sell people something halfway and go, well, we hope it's going to be. It's like they're underplaying it by underplaying it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if this comes off, but don't be expecting much if it does come off, and that's what it feels like to me at the moment. It's like, get someone who can fucking get the fella who sold the monorail to the Simpsons. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be brilliant, because that's what it will be if they get it over the line.
I think we need I've said this before, and I hoped that this would happen when Farhad Moshiri took over. And early indications were that it would. There was a real wind of change.
Yeah.
And I think everybody was excited by it. He came in, he got rid of Roberto Martinez very quickly, and Koeman came in, and there was a director of football, and there was plans that he's going after the dock and the stadium, and it was like, oh my word, all our prayers have been answered. We wanted this, we wanted an owner with money and that's great, and while that is still rings true, a lot of the stuff he's done is positive, and it's moved the club forward. There's still bits of it that still ring alarm bells. You still look and go, right, well, that's brilliant, but yet some of the people are still in key positions at the club. We haven't seen anything from the club, absolutely anything. We've seen a 51-page fucking survey. We've seen other things. If we go and it's going to be again, Robert Elstone will face a challenge raising the money, to raising the remainder of the money. That should never even come out there. Farhad Moshiri's a billionaire, so £200 million on an investment that he will get back, or he could still sell on to someone else. That shouldn't even be out, even in question. Go and see his fucking mate, the Russian, and get him to pay for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even if there is going to be a challenge, that shouldn't be coming out of our way, out of our mouths.
It's just the wrong tone, because all it does is it sets alarm bells off to Evertonians, because that's our first reaction. We don't go. I think we'd rather have bluster and over optimism than someone turn around and be like, oh, because that's when we start smelling it. That's when we start going, you know what, something's not right about this.
With football, right? Football clubs are based on dreams, right? I was listening to the radio coming in, and I'm talking about football, and people are moaning, what's the go to football matches for? United fans are on. I don't enjoy going anymore. This is, we're second, it's rubbish, this. You're going, in a semi-final of an FA Cup, you've just gone out in the quarter-final of the Champions League and you're second and your stadium's amazing and you just buy whatever and you're saying football's not enjoyable anymore. So as football fans, we're always dreaming of things. We go to the match, we're hoping Everton have a great performance. We'd love to see Everton win trophies, you know. So you're always dreaming. If you actually stop them, what's the reality of this? Like, the reality is we don't spend enough money, earn enough money. The stadium's a bit shit. We've got players, you know, our players aren't fantastic. No point, I'm not going. What's the point? Entertain. So it costs a lot of money. What's the point in spending all my money every other week to go out for the day and we're shite and we're going nowhere? We don't do that because you go every time and hope. You're buying into a dream, a vision, a hope of it. We don't need people at the top playing everything down. We don't, because all you're doing by playing down is causing unrest. And we are cynical now enough. We've got a manager that probably, I don't know, but potentially 2/3 of the fan base don't really want. It might even be higher than that. We've got a chairman that at least half the fan base haven't been happy with his tenure yet, even though he's done some good things and he's done things that aren't so good. People would rather see a different fella in. The CEO, a lot of people don't like, or what, for whatever reason, and it might be to do with things like this. Now I understand Robert Elstone probably sits there and doesn't want to come out with too much in case it backfires, but you know what, you've got to swing, and we shouldn't be this far down the road without being convinced it's going to happen anyway.
Well, I mean, how far down the road are we, though? Do you know what I mean? That's the point, isn't it? How far down? You get the feeling that Everton wish that half of this stuff wasn't out. If it was like, you know, I think they would like.
I think they go like Ashley Williams.
I think Everton would have preferred. I think Everton would have preferred for it to have been on a Stone Cross. In a quiet sort of place where they can take the time to get it built, but it's all like there's no problems, you know.
Of course.
Whereas it almost feels like there's a time on this where they feel like they're being pressured into a time, but that's good as far as I'm concerned, because that means that people have got to work harder. But it's whether they can deal with it, and if they can't, then get those people out. I think by now we should have an understanding of of a lot of things. I mean, you're talking there about the attendance. Surely that should be nailed down, right? And he shouldn't be scared to come out and go, listen, the attendance is this size because of this. Now, if they come out and go, right, we've passed it to Dan Mice, we've looked at it, and it's going to be 55,000, and here's the reasons. The reasons are because the footprint of the stadium isn't big enough to allow us to have a huge stadium, but this is what you want as fans for it to be here, a marquee stadium, somewhere which is going to be absolutely amazing, look amazing. This is what you want for your football club. So if you took us out to a brown field on the edge of the city, we could have as big as you wanted, but that's not what you want. This is what you want, and your stadium's going to be amazing because of that. And we feel that because if it's 55, it'll be sold out all the time, it'll be close, it'll be intimidating, it'll be all the things that you want, and this is why. Then I think fans would go, sound, that's fine. But you're not giving them, because you're leaving that thing up in the air where people go, well, what is it? Because you've not given us a number. All you've just said is, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it's like, you know, it's not. If we can't satisfy what you want.
I think if they put that out at the very start, it'd be done. People can moan and go, it should be bigger, and they go, like you've just said, this is what it is. They threw Kirby out there, 50,000, 52,000. They threw the dock out there. King's Dock, 50, well, it was 55, wasn't it, with the thing? It was out there immediately. This is what we're hoping for.
Monster trucks.
I personally, I'd love it to be 61,878, because I think that's an iconic thing. I think it'd be fantastic. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't want it to be 51,878, because I think we need a bit more than that. But if they just come out and went, for all, like everything you've just said, listen, this is what it is. This is where it's gone. You wanted it. At the King's Dock, at the dock, on the dock front, down at the waterfront, and this is it. To get the very best stadium we can get, and affordable, and what we think is reality. It's 55,000. End of story. We get on with it. Everyone would have to. What could we do?
No.
We can't go. What will it hurt? Because it's 15,000 more than we're getting now.
And also, there's an argument that you keep the attendance lower than your fan base is as well, because it
make it a hot ticket.
It makes it the demand. But the other thing is, though, and I think this was mentioned, I think it's been mentioned that Dan Mice has been talking to the people from UNESCO, who are the World Heritage Site. Now, Joe Anderson has said that the having World Heritage status is not the be all and end all. The city has got to progress, but if they can stay within the parameters. Now, I know where the stadium is just on the outside of the UNESCO. But what was said was Dan Mice is speaking to them to almost find out how they can stay within the guidelines, because obviously if you can have your cake and eat it, then that's better, isn't it? You know what I mean? They can speak to them and go, well, listen, if what would need to happen for this for everything to remain? If they come back and go, well, here's the things, and they go, well, I tell you what, can't you meet us halfway? And if they say, well, what do you mean? Well, I tell you what, we'll try and keep everything as it is, and if we have big buildings, they'll be behind, the spectacular front buildings, and the stadium won't be this big homeless card of a stadium. It'll look within keeping. They might go, well, yeah, fine, you're an up and coming city, you're an innovative city, that'll go a long way to satisfy, which I imagine it will, and apparently that's what's happening. That if that all fell into it, then people will go, I understand why you've made that decision, I understand why you've made these decisions. You can't, I just don't think they're being proactive enough, because I look at Spurs and I feel like they've gone after their stadium with aggression. Yeah. And they're Daniel Levy's come out.
I'm just getting some quotes.
No, I know. Daniel Levy's come out and said things like the council haven't helped us enough, and I think that's forced the council into a corner. I think last week they got planning permission for more seats. I think it's what they've said is, listen, we're bringing money into this area, we're helping regenerate this area. I think Liverpool have done the same thing as well. They've gone, we want this, because we are helping regenerate this area. We bring thousands of pounds, millions of pounds long term into the city, into a rundown area of the city. We want help, and the city have gone, you know what? Yeah, fine. And I think that's what Everton are not getting right. They're letting the council lead the discussion. Whereas Everton should be leading the discussion and going, this is our and what's happening actually is the council are bending over backwards, but there'll be a point where Joe Anderson at the moment, you feel it's very much on him, and listen, there's a lot going on in the council where there's infighting, there's people trying to pull Joe Anderson down. I'm not saying Joe Anderson's perfect, he's caused his own problems through his own sort of arrogance. There's a programme on that Pound Houses where he just come off looking like a tit, as far as I'm concerned, and he didn't have to. He could have come off looking a lot better if he just chose his words better, but he came off looking like, he looked like, again, another Simpsons reference, he looked like Merc Quimby. Nice. He just looked like that. He just came off like looking like a bit of a dick, to be honest, when he didn't have to. And I think that rubs some people up the wrong way, and there's been various things, and I think there'll come a point where the stadium could be the hill he dies on if Everton don't go, well, we're taking the lead on this, because at the moment you just feel like he's pulling the whole thing along, and Everton are happy to be pulled along, going, yeah, it's just sound. Where I think Everton at some point have to go, you know what, this is our stadium,
we're driving the bus,
we're driving this, and I don't see them doing that at the moment.
I think the quiet moments, they're allowing everybody else to fill them in, and I think that's always a dangerous thing. If you let fans fill the space, negativity breeds very quickly, because if this Everton board delivered on everything it said, or you can't deliver on everything, of course you can't, things change and blah blah blah, and listen, in the past we haven't had the resources. For all I know, I'm quite sure Bill Kenwright wanted us to be the most successful club he could have or whatever, but we haven't had the money, and so that hinders a lot of things. But there's money there now, so they need. But to me, we're still making the same mistakes we were making when we didn't have the money. Just like some of the quotes from Robert Elstone at the meeting. He wants to be progressive, environmentally and socially. Fan involvement will continue. Door open to feedback. Richard Kenyon has a timetable for future engagement with the fans. Where is it? Not heard it. Final costs not yet determined, which I think a bit bizarre. Phasing is a possibility. Having the ability to grow
one stand at a time.
Well, having the possibility to grow the capacity in future years. Very sensitive to the World Heritage Site, which is what you've just said. You know, they asked him about 500 million, the going rate and all of that palaver. But he's talking about future-proofing the stadium. You know, anticipating growth, but not on the scale of other stadium moves, which I think's right. I think some clubs, like West Ham, for argument's sake, thought they could move.
Oh yeah,
stadiums, and all of a sudden,
we're not asked about. Are you? Can I ask? Right, honestly, right? Are you genuinely asked about Everton coming out and going, "We get the stadium"? Oh, we're one of the big boys. No, because we know that's not true.
But they said the time frame building to start in summer 2019.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
And it'll be completed within 3 years.
That is not happening. I don't give a monkeys what anyone says. That is not happening. And I tell you anymore. Go on, sorry.
Talks about 35 to 40,000 season ticket holders.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
So 40,000. So that suggests to me it's probably no bigger than 55.
But if it is, as we've mentioned, if there's legitimate reasons why it has to be that size, then I've got no problem with that. I know people will talk about ambition, and some people might say, well, what's the point of even going or redevelop goods? But I understand if we get a stadium, right, that is if we get a stadium that's world class, that doesn't have to mean that bigger means better, right? I look at Spurs, right? Spurs watch just over 60, and you look at that end they've got, that big one piece end, and I'm like, I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah, but that's 60,000.
No, I know, but that's not. But at the moment they're filling out 90s at time at Wembley, so they're dropping 30,000.
Yeah.
So if you're a Spurs fan, no, but what I'm saying is, if you're a Spurs,
I'm saying we wouldn't fill.
But if you're a Spurs fan now and you're filling 90,000, wouldn't? Are you?
Your bottle's gone.
But are you thinking? No, but are you thinking if you've been a long term?
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
If you've been a long term season ticket holder, right, to Spurs, right, and you're at Wembley now and you're filling 90. What are you thinking? Because I'm thinking, I'm not asked, we're dropping to 60. I'm thinking, fuck how many people are in here. Look at that end. Look at this ground. Look at the atmosphere we're going to generate in this place. That's what I'm thinking. And I think, as Evertonians, it doesn't always. I'm not trying to quell expectations here. I would love to have the biggest stadium, but the point is, if someone says to me, for 5,000 less tickets, right, your stadium is going to be iconic, more intimidating, then I will take that over those 5,000 people, because that to me is what Everton is all about.
Yeah, I think, listen, anywhere between 40 and 50, then I'll be pissed off. I will, because I'll just think, what's the point?
No, because...
But 55, you can't... It's 15,000 more than we've got now. That's a lot of fans, really.
Don't forget, 5,000 or so are going to be corporate anyway. So but what I mean is, if you've got an end like Spurs, which is just going to be like the wall of Dortmund or something like that, then that's the real power, isn't it? That's the real power of your ground. It's not always.
I think we will, won't we?
But that's what I'm saying. It's not always about how many seats you fill, because again, what would you rather have? Would you rather have 5,000 seats there, or 5,000 seats with day tippers?
I'm not bothered about the day tippers, because it's about money. Listen,
I know. No, what I'm saying is, no. I know what you're going to say. Day tippers bring money. They bring money, and generally they follow success. So that's fine. I'm not having a go at it.
And they spread your word.
And that's fine.
Your brand.
So what? So you're I'm just saying, you're 5,000 less seats, right?
Yeah.
Your atmosphere's
intense.
Much better. Or you have the 5,000 next year full of day tippers who go to shopping.
Like I've just said to you, ideally, if you said to me pick attendance, I'd have 61,878. Okay. That's what I would have, right? Okay. I'm happy to take 55 if it's boss, right? Okay. If it's boss, okay? And for all of those reasons, like you say, you could go to some stadiums and it could be 40,000, but the stadium's amazing, right? Yeah. It's brilliant. You can go, what a fun stadium this is. Do you know what I mean? Just because it's...
Well, let me just move it up. Alright,
stop. Look at the Emirates. The Emirates has got 60, right? But It's 60,000. So what? It's nothing.
60,000.
Where Highbury was.
That's what I'm saying.
30,
it's 60,000.
39,000.
It's 60,000.
Or 38,000.
It's nothing. It was. I think at the time it was amazing when it got built, and it's an amazing stadium. But I go in and go, what does this actually do? Is this intimidating? No, it's not intimidating at all. No. I think we're learning the lessons of that now. And maybe we'll move up. Listen, instead of saying 55, let's just say 60. Instead of having 65, we'll have 61. How about that? And it's an intimidating 61.
There you go.
That makes it sound better, doesn't it?
Looking for additional funding. Consultations are busy working stream. Finally, planning is being progressed. Okay, so that to me sounds like planning permission. Things are moving ahead. Careful control of costs required. Team working within the city council on funding. And he's talked about the club's commitments, substantial money being spent, lots of progress, very confident, looking at design costs and feedback. Costs have increased with increased ambition. So that to me says, on the one hand, they've had to alter some stuff, and I know that they have, because I think, to be honest with you, mate, when they started, I think it was played to them. They were thinking like this. Let's get there and we'll have probably 40, maybe it was 45,000, and maybe they've had to go, we'll have to go to like 55,000.
Because we sell out.
Well, of course.
Well, alright, well, see, I worry about, though, I think the timescales are nuts. And alright, well, let me ask you a question, right? Do you know this fan thing?
The survey? Yeah.
Do you think that's just playing for time?
I don't know whether it's playing for time. I think it's a good way to get data. It's a good way to get a cross section.
Not being funny. If they haven't got Facebook style data on me by now.
Listen, right. By doing it that way, it's a good way for them to get fans' feelings. Okay. And they can temper with that. The concern I have, right?
Go on.
The concerns I have is that we've not even seen a sketch. Okay, but me saying work starts in 2019, the summer, and you go, not a fucking chance, right? It can happen that quick. It can happen, and I'll tell you why. Because it's 16
modern
months.
World.
16 months away.
Well, modern world.
Right, so all that needs is that this plan next, and then the next one goes in September, then they're ready to clear the site.
I just worry that consultation is playing for time, because I think they've given themselves a little bit of, they're trying to give themselves wiggle room. But again, that comes from not being honest. That comes from promising something or setting something up. Dan Mice has been talking for the best part of a year about plans, and there are no plans. We're still talking about capacities, we're still talking about all these things you've just spoke about. Surely there's got to be, I'm not being funny, right? Designs take a while. You can draw a picture.
Right. He will have designs.
I know. No, what I'm saying is,
the fact that we haven't, that when you're building an extension on a house, right? You don't just go, oh, we'll have an extension on our house. You know what I mean? And I hope to get the costs right, but we're having an extension. It's plans first. How will it look? What do you think this will cost? Right? And then you go out. So
no, I know.
They know.
I know, but
why have we not been?
But the point is, those things you've just said, what he said, they don't tally up with having plans, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there aren't plans. I'm saying the language makes us feel like there aren't plans. Therefore,
hasn't Joe Anderson said he's seen the plans?
Well, yeah,
fantastic.
And Graham Sharp said he's seen the plans nearly a year ago, and that's why I'm saying they come back and go, well, we're not sure on the capacity, rather than saying we've got a capacity, we've got a plan.
Well, I'm not sure on the capacity means.
All right.
No, I'm saying to me is, we're going to get criticised for what we put out.
But then that don't fucking put a plan out and say this is what we want, this is what we're looking at. These are the get some. If I just worry. I'm sure it's only sort of skin deep. I'm sure the main part of a stadium, or the main part of any building, is not what it looks like on the outside. It's how it functions on the inside. You know, pipes, electricity, all that kind of thing. You know, how it all fits in. That's the main thing. I'm sure that'll be pretty standard for whatever it is. Of course, there might have to be more things for if you reach a certain capacity. I'm sure that you have to have more toilets and more, all those kind of things,
which incur costs.
Exactly. So, but it doesn't help the anxiety of football fans if you're not being upfront with them. Again, this is another meeting where nothing has come out of it.
Yeah. I suppose he did. Well, I suppose he just said things.
He just said things.
Yeah.
Joe Anderson. Again, he'll come out and say he's very bold and he's very brash, and this is why people don't like him. Because he goes. If you go to Liverpool now at the moment, if you go to the city centre, there's areas that things started on and have not maybe have come to fruition as yet. But I tell you what, there's loads of areas in town where things have just gone bang, done. Look at Lime Street. Look at Lime Street, right? There was a big minty building. It was an old building. It was the Hippodrome. But it was gone. It was finished. There's nothing you could do with it. I know people said they wanted to save it. Right, bang, get the thing, bang. It's up. It's half getting built now. It's half done. Right. Liverpool one, they said could never be done. I know that's but it was done and it's thriving and it's. They're trying to do the bit up by the hospital.
Yeah.
Even though the hospital's not gone, that's out of the hands of the council. They've already marked that out to be done. They want a new train line up there. They're trying to get things done that other people maybe have dragged their feet. There was the bit down by Chinatown that it's fallen through because of an investment company. But basically, but looks like it might be starting again. But that's again though that whether you like him or not, that's Joe Anderson handing the keys over to someone else and going, there's a piece of land there, go and do something with it for the sake of our city. And it's the same with the 10th Street. It's an area where it can be growing, and he's put his trust into other people to do that, and I feel like he's driving it, and again, as I say, people won't like it because things will fail or things won't add up or people will go, oh, this doesn't make sense, or you know what I mean. But he's driving it wherever, and I just nothing reassures me about it at all. I'm sure Dan Mice is chomping at the bit to show people or tell people what he's doing, but you just get the feeling that Everton are just like, no, just steady on there. And I just that doesn't fill me with any confidence that they're getting it done. You know, we've already mentioned the financials. The financials are by no way certain, and you're thinking they should be absolutely nailed. It should be, the finances should be sorted. The council situation should be sorted. The third part should be sorted. Everything should be sorted so that it is just like Everton are like, we're waiting for you lot. We're waiting for you, not the other way round. Everton should be driving this forward, going, we're waiting for you. Where's our planning permission? But we haven't even put the fucking stuff in. Planning permission doesn't take 2 minutes. It takes time to go over things. We should be at a point now, I think, where we should just be like, what's going on? We're waiting for you. We want to put a shovel in the ground here. Where are you? But you don't get that feeling. I just don't think meetings like that reassure anybody.
Well, how can we not be in that position? How can we not have a clue where we're at? Or maybe we do.
But they do.
But why haven't we told anyone?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Why aren't you ending? Why aren't you filling the silence? Why aren't you going, listen, this is what we've decided. The capacity is 55,000, and we'll have some images for you very shortly.
And going back to what you're saying about the capacity, I would like to have, if he come out and said, we know what the capacity is, but it's got a lot to do with
the surrounding
area. No, but what I mean is if he said, listen, we've got an idea of the capacity, we know what the capacity is, and but we don't want to reveal it yet because we want to make sure the plans go through and we don't want to whatever. Then you go, okay, but it's not. It's just like, well,
but
maybe
that
it's this.
Probably is the reason.
But
you
then
go,
say the reason.
Don't you know? We know what we're like as a club.
It just doesn't make any sense. And now you've got the uncertainty of Robert Elston's job. Whether he's staying, whether he's going.
Maybe the new fella will come in and be a bit more dynamic.
But who's the new fella?
I don't know. But
what I mean is that will whoever takes that job take that role, or would someone already at the club take the role? And if they're already at the club, why aren't they already doing that role? It's all these uncertainties that just make people go, we've been here before. We've been here before. Just open the lid a little bit.
The one thing I would say, and the one thing that stops me going, yeah, this is not going to happen, is Farhad Moshiri. And he's been very vocal on doing it and saying it'll be done. It'll get done. There's no question about it. We're going to have that stadium on the Mersey, and that's like a legacy for him. And I think if it didn't happen, he would not come off very well. He's been out. He's put himself out there. And he hasn't gone. We're hopeful. He's gone out and gone. It's getting done. He done that interview with Chris. I mean, he did say we had our own Fab Four, which wasn't the greatest statement, but he did talk about the stadium will get done and we're moving forward and this, that and the other. So I've got confidence in him being able to get what he needs. And I think sometimes saying things like, it's a challenge to get the money, but you know, we're confident, that should never even be out there. It should just be like, we're putting it together. These things take time, we're moving forward, and we hope to reveal more stuff soon.
One thing that sort of again annoys me is, or it doesn't, you imagine these things go in stages, so you do this, then you do that.
Yeah.
And I just think like every time I feel like we're at a point, then suddenly we get dragged back down. It's like snakes and ladders. You know, every time you feel like you should, do you know what I mean? I would have thought by now, or didn't we get told the planning permission was going to be in by January? I'm sure they said.
I've May in my mind.
I'm sure they said last year.
Yeah.
That the planning permission would come in at the beginning of the year, right? That's when they put in it. But now, if we're still talking about capacity sizes, you're thinking, what is going on? Like,
or has that planning permission gone in with the capacity size and we don't know, and it's not been revealed?
You'd know if the planning permission had gone, though, wouldn't you? Because they'd have to make it public, wouldn't they? But I just,
so how will we?
Every time I feel like we're there, then someone says something that it's like snakes and ladders, and I just think, where are we at with this stadium? Be realistic and tell us, and just say, listen, it's this or it's that, or it's.
It takes time, and we all know that it's a massive project. We understand,
but it's clearly behind schedule.
It must be. But then he's still talking about that timeline. There would have been nothing wrong with him last week going, listen, we penciled in starting 2019. It's actually going to be 2020 in for the 23-24 season. That's the way.
Yeah, but he's saying, regardless of when it ends, it's saying it's starting next summer.
And it'll be completed by 20.
That's a lot to be
3
done.
years. Well, is it though? Is it? It's only really, I suppose, for plans finalised, plan and permission in, passed by everybody. You know, which can be done in 4,
does that mean
6,
then?
8 weeks.
All right. Well, does that mean that next summer they start the surveying? The surveying's going to be done.
But they've had people down there a while ago on boats and take pictures.
Sure that's not. Yeah, but that's not. I don't think that's.
That's what they were saying.
That's not proper surveying, though. You know what I mean.
Once the planning permission goes in and it's passed, you can start doing the rest of it. Talking spade in the ground. I
just think that.
Got to drain the bloody thing.
I think that they just don't. I don't know. They just don't seem to be at the stage that
we believe
we thought they were at, and.
But then come out and say it then.
Yeah.
Bring everybody up to date. But Everton don't. We didn't have a manager and no one addressed it, mate.
The other thing is that we only ever seem to... It only seems to be brought up when the council brings it up. There's no sort of like... Everton as a club are not independently...
No. We need... To be honest with you then, you know, we need to get... If it's not going to be the CEO that wants to do it, we need to get a spokesman for it, and that spokesman needs to be going, right, we need to be putting stuff out, we need to be saying this, we need to be saying that. Someone needs to put their head above the parapet and go, you know what, this is what's happening, and it's happening because of this. They need that. Clubs that, you know, Liverpool would do it. Liverpool wouldn't leave gaps for other people to fill in. Whether they got criticised or not, they just come out and go, this is what we're doing, and this is what it is. That big stand, they put that out immediately. It's this stand and this is how much it's going to be, and people were like, I thought it was going to be bigger than that, and it was out there. It was out. Once it was out there, what can you do? That's what it is. Get on with it. You know, this is happening, that's happening. other clubs, you know, imagine Man City. I know, listen, I know we're not Man City, but we can still act like Man City.
But you project that.
Can't you?
You project. You
come out and go, this is what we're doing.
You project your ambition. And I just don't think we're doing that.
We still Ashley Williams. We still go.
I think we're waiting. I think we're waiting for someone else. I think we're happy for the council to take the lead. But it's like, but what I don't get about that, and I don't want to go on too much because we're going around in circles. But what I don't like about that is, you're telling the world what you're doing, but you're letting someone else
do it.
So, but by doing that, it's almost like, well, no, we didn't say anything. It was him. But that, you know what I mean? It's like, get out there.
Everton are great at that, though.
Yeah.
Everton have done that for 20 years, mate. Everton have honestly, to be fair, probably since John Moores went, we've allowed other people. We don't act like a big club. We don't.
Well, there's plausible,
and it's frustrating.
But you can't afterwards deny it didn't happen. No, that's. I mean, regardless of who said it.
But that's what they do. They don't listen. We had a manager for 5 weeks. No one said a fucking word.
I think it's but I think it's a clash of styles actually, because I think, and that's the thing that's come out of it is that Everton want to stay quiet and reserved about the whole thing, hoping that it all blows over and no one remembers. Whereas the council with Joe Anderson, he's a big brash car salesman,
but he's an Evertonian.
No, I know.
He expects us to act like a
but what he is, I'm saying he's like a car salesman. So he's projecting it. He projects.
Yeah.
And the way he works is,
well, on the thing he interjected with Robert Elstone said something. He went, and he put it in. It's gonna be an iconic stadium on a night, the world envy and all that. Where Elstone's probably going.
Well, that's it. He projects big, because as far as he's concerned, if it comes off, it's amazing. If it doesn't come off, we tried. You know what I mean? We tried, and because of this or because of that.
I suppose
he fronts it. I'll give him that. Joe Anderson,
I suppose
fronts it.
Robert Elstone's thinking, well, if it isn't clear,
fuck's he got to lose? He's going to the fucking Super League anyway.
But he might be thinking, if it isn't clear, I don't want to say it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying maybe that's what he's doing. And Anderson's like, okay, this is happening, and it's happening, and this is why it's happening. I've sat with Mashiri, and this is why it's happening, and it's going to be the best, and it's going to be iconic, and it's going to be intimidating, and it's going to be blah de blah. Do you know what I mean? And then you can literally see Robert like that.
It was just nice.
Isn't he? Thinking
it would just be nice to get some clarity on it, and you know what?
100%.
You know what would be nice? Like a timetable.
Yeah.
And say,
just a rough one.
Yeah, just say,
a rough timetable.
Say this is where we are. This is what we expect to happen next. This is when we expect to unveil the plans. This is when we put in the plan of permission. This is when we expect to put the.
You know what we need? If only there was like a local newspaper, you know, with journalists who actually.
No, there's not one of them. They're all leaving anyway.
No, I know.
It'll be done by MailChimp soon.
But imagine it. If only there was to actually ask questions.
Get a plan in place and say, this is when we expect to have that. This is when we plan, blah 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 blah. But then people will say, well, you know what? Then you're asking them to confirm things, and when that goes tits up, because it would.
Well, how about like the next couple of things that have to happen?
They keep us in the dark.
Stage 1, stage 2.
They keep us in the dark, because then they don't. Then they don't have to apologise. Yeah.
Not accountable. So there you go.
There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are you frustrated with the stadium situation? Are you frustrated that we know very little from maybe the general meeting 12 months ago, 8, whatever. Or you're quite happy with the way it's bobbing along? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you later.